Hey everyone. So these are my notes for before I started my weaving. I decided when I was looking for patterns that I could use the Fibonacci sequence, just rearranged. So here is the beginning of the Fibonacci sequence, and then I was thinking about for a weaving, um, five would be too many like spaces to skip in the like frame weaving that I'm doing. So I decided to go with 1, 1, and 2, and then I rearranged that to be 1, 2, 1. At first, I was hoping to do different colors, and so I made this into the pattern grid, and then I realized that that would really only work if I had a floor loom, and I don't. I have a frame loom, which means that there aren't any heddles or floor petals to move the heddles up and down, which makes it a lot easier to change colors. When you just have a frame loom, it's basically if you imagine just a picture frame, and then if you just were weaving across that, so nothing's moving, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to switch colors to create this sort of pattern. So I decided for a frame loom that I would use the same colors, but basically the beige would be the warp and the gold would be the weft. So warp is the threads that are vertical, and gold, the weft, is the threads that are coming across horizontally. So when you put together your frame loom, I can show you guys that this is what I have in progress here. The As you can see, the beige is the warp, which is threaded through the loom, and the gold thread is the weft, which I've been weaving across. And I'll also show you guys a video of me weaving, doing a little time lapse of that. So that's the pattern I decided on. As you can see right now, it's a little bit difficult to see the pattern that it's created, but once it's a full piece, it'll be a little bit more apparent. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay, so I've put this little weaving time lapse in here for you guys so you can see what weaving looks like a little bit sped up. Otherwise, it's very slow. So enjoy. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this weaving that I did not make, but I think was likely produced on a floor loom because of the intricate pattern. As you can see, it's pretty complicated, and I don't think that would have been done on a frame loom because it would have taken forever and been really frustrating, and there's no way you could have gotten like these details like this. So that tells me that it was done on a floor loom. Not to mention how many warp threads there are. When you use a floor loom, it's like hundreds of warp threads so that you can create these really intricate patterns. And this is a piece that I did recently on my frame loom, which, as you can see, there's a pretty big difference between that and the last one I just showed you. This one I was just fooling around with some abstract shapes and patterns, all using plain weave, which means plain weave is just over, under, over, under. The pattern that I chose for the Fibonacci was under 1/2, under 1/2. So it's a little different. But this is usually what a weaving done on a frame loom would look like in comparison to the floor loom. As you can see, the patterns are really done just by changing the color of the weft thread, and by just deciding where you want to put these shapes in. But you can also make a pattern happen by changing the type of weave. So instead of doing a plain weave, you could do the weave that I did for the other project, or you can totally mix it up and do something even more funky.